Works. I'm not gonna tell anyone else what to do.
And we could make a whole sitcom about our weird friendship.
I know.
It's like, I don't trust organized religion. You're like, I am religious.
It works for us because we don't try and tell each other what the other person should think.
I know, I just think it's really hilarious.
It is funny, though. Sam says maybe it's time to have faith and asks how Dean can be a skeptic when they see monsters and supernatural things all the time. And Dean says, exactly, we see them, we know that they're real. And in Hookman, we got a real sense of where the boys fell with religion, but in this episode, it's made, like, much clearer where each of the Winchesters stand when it comes to faith and religion. And this is the basis of their beliefs pretty much for the rest of the show. That Dean wants to see something before he knows that it exists.
I'm gonna bring up the X-Files here.
Yes, do that.
First of all, there is an episode of the X-Files that has a faith healer. It's, hang on, I have it in my notes somewhere. I guess I don't. Anyway, but there's actually this, like, same dichotomy in the X-Files. Like, Mulder is all about evidence and looking for things that he believes truly exist. And Scully, who is the skeptic for all of Mulder's beliefs, is actually the religious one. I thought that was really cool.
That's interesting. Dean flirts with this girl named Layla, and I mean, might as well, he's dying. And I'm actually so glad that we didn't record, this episode was supposed to be recorded a few times, but I'm actually glad that we didn't record it earlier because I would not have recognized Layla because that is Julie Benz, aka Rita from Dexter. I'm currently on season 3 of Dexter, so I hadn't, and as soon as I heard her speak, my brain went, oh my god, we know her. Added bonus, Rita's abusive ex-husband in the show is played by Mark Pellegrino, who plays Lucifer in Supernatural from seasons 5 to 15.
Oh gosh.
So, double Supernatural and Dexter connection happening there. So glad to have noticed it this time. Her voice is just, like, floaty and soft. It makes me happy. She's got bad luck, though, because her character is married to Mark Pellegrino, and I'm pretty sure at some point she also gets married to Dexter, who's a serial killer. So, yeah, not great. Rita does not have great taste in men. Her radar is off.
That sucks.
But they take a seat near the front at Sam's insistence, and Roy LaGrange gives, like, this sermon, and Dean mouths off, but the Reverend, who, as we mentioned, is blind, has a really keen sense of hearing and, like, engages with Dean, invites him to come up and be healed. Dean tries to, like, pass off his opportunity, but the Reverend insists that the Lord picked him to be healed.
I had, like, a small note. When Roy asked for his name, Dean did give him his real name. And I wonder why he didn't just make up a fake one.
I think he was probably too caught off guard, but it does seem weird since he lies all the time. Yeah, I didn't notice that, but that is interesting.
The actor who plays Reverend LaGrange is Kevin McNulty, and he's played a few different roles on The X-Files, and he was Jimmy the doorman in The Fantastic Four from 2005. And Jillian Barber, who plays Layla's mom, Mrs. Rourke, has also played a few different characters on The X-Files.
I love that. I saw that some people from The X-Files were there, but I didn't look at them closely enough to write down who anybody was. I figured if they were important, you would tell us.
I'm mostly going by who I recognize.
That's how I do it, too. Dean gets on the stage, and Roy promises that he will be a believer, and invites everyone to pray with him, and puts, like, one hand on Dean's face, and Dean falls to his knees, and then collapses, like, entirely, and when he comes to, he sees this, like, flash of, like, a dead-looking guy in a suit. And Dean then goes to a local doctor who says that there is no evidence of anything wrong with his heart and shouldn't be, given that he's 27. But she mentions that does happen and that a young man of the same age had died, like, just the day before, seemingly out of nowhere. And Sam's like, it's a coincidence, don't worry about it. And Dean's like, no, that is not a coincidence.
Wasn't it like a few episodes ago where one of them was like, when is it ever a coincidence?
I feel like, yeah, it was. Sam says that if one of them was going to see something, it would probably be him over Dean, but Dean insists, and he sends Sam back to check out the body while he goes to talk to Roy.
I feel like if this was happening to someone other than Dean, Sam would probably feel like they needed to investigate it too, but, like, he has Dean back, and he's just not willing to sacrifice that.
He knows that that's what happened, like, as soon as they find out about this, but he knows that Dean's going to feel really bad about it, and he doesn't want that.
Yeah.
And this is where we get all of our backstory on Roy. Roy was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer, and he went into a coma, which he awoke from cured, aside from his blindness, and he was fine. After that, he discovered that he could heal people, and now he's got, like, this big, like, following. And Roy says that he picked Dean because the Lord guided him. He's a young man with a purpose and a job to do that wasn't finished yet.
I have a note.
Yeah, I kind of thought you might.
So this I found kind of interesting when he was like, oh, it's guided by the Lord, because the thing is, this was never explained later in the episode, even after we find out that Roy was not like the villain, or he wasn't doing anything supernatural here, and he thought like he really was a faith healer. So what I want to find out is, what was that? And I have a little conspiracy theory, a little headcanon, that maybe Roy is one of those people that can receive the true visage of angels. And maybe he was guided by a special angel in heaven who might have told him to save Dean. So, I don't know.
I like that.
Maybe that's why Roy woke up blind, so he doesn't get his eyes burned out.
Oh my gosh, you just made this like 10 times better.
Oh gosh.
I thought of that while you were saying it too. Like, it wasn't like that was just me riffing off of what you were saying.
Oh my goodness, yes.
This is why I wanted to record with other people, because I knew that if other people said things, I would say things that were cool. Like, I'm not gonna come up with that on my own. But if someone gets me like halfway there, then
just communal headcanons.
Yeah, my brain will just fill in the blanks. It's fine. Sam talks to like a friend / coworker of the guy who also died of the heart attack, who was apparently super healthy and unlikely to just have a heart attack out of nowhere.
Suspicious.
Yeah, I mean, you can still just have a heart attack out of nowhere, but it definitely seems like this guy wasn't likely.
Alright, place your bets, everyone.
Sam also notes that like a nearby clock is broken, and the guy said it's frozen at 4:17, which is the exact same time that heart attack guy Marshall died. And back with Dean, Layla and her mom are visiting the Reverend. Apparently it's like their 6th visit, but Roy hasn't healed Layla yet. Layla's mother is furious that Dean is safe when her child hasn't, because, you know, Dean showed up for like 2 seconds. And Layla also has an inoperable brain tumor, which will kill her in about 6 months.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it really sucks to be her, honestly. Mrs. Rourke hits hard. She looks Dean Winchester in the eye and asks him, why do you deserve to live more than my daughter? Which is, whew, that's aggressive.
That is like a frustrated and terrified mom right there.
Also the fastest way to get Dean Winchester to feel absolutely horrible about himself.
He's like, no, I don't deserve to live.
Yeah, he never once for a second thought that he deserved to live, so that was harsh. Back at the motel, Sam has put together a list. In the last year, Roy has cured 6 people, and each time someone was healed, someone else died of the same symptoms. So he's not really healing anybody, he's just trading lives. Sam posits if Marshall Hall hadn't died to save Dean, then he probably would have died to save someone else. It seemed like the whole point was that they were the same age, but maybe not.
Well, judging from what we see later in the episode, they don't have to be the same age.
Yeah, it just seems weird that they specifically made a point that Marshall Hall and Dean were the same age, and then, like, that's not a thing.
I guess that one was actually a coincidence.
Yeah.
It's weird. That actually happens on this show.
And then while we're talking about this, we're getting flashes of Reverend Roy healing another man while dead-looking guy, like, chases down a jogger in the woods, and we gotta stop to talk about the music here, because it's season 1, they had to change the music, and that was a mistake. On Prime, the song is Death in the Valley by the Death Riders. It's fine, but unfortunately the actual song that goes here is so perfect that the Death Riders just couldn't do it justice. What you hear for the original airing on the DVDs is Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult. The perfect song for this moment and this episode. Like,
I love that song so much. And like earlier in, what was it? Was it Hell House where they referenced Blue Oyster Cult? I lost my mind.
It's after this, but yes. I love this song. I love Blue Oyster Cult. It's just, I mean, I got that there was licensing issues, but it was a mistake. This episode is not, like, this goes on all of the top music moments of the show. It's perfect.
Just don't fear the Reaper, but, like, also run away, please.
Yeah. Dean is really pissed that someone died to save him, and Sam just wants to know how Reverend Roy is doing it. And Dean says that a Reaper is the only thing that can give and take life like this. Kind of, but no.
He will learn.
Based on what they know now, yes, but based on what they're going to learn, not true.
Oh, sweet summer children.
Aw.
Yeah, the veil between life and death is a little thinner than Sam and Dean believe.
They were just babies.
I said Sam and Dean are pretty confident, and then I corrected myself, said actually Dean is very confident that it's a Reaper. Sam says that the weird cross he noticed in the church seems like the way that Roy might control the Reaper, but eventually the Reaper's gonna turn on him, and Sam is adamantly opposed to killing Reverend Roy. Good or bad, he's human, and
Is he?
I don't know if this is... I think Sam might be projecting a little bit here.
Totally.
We don't talk about it at all, really, except for Sam saying, like, oh, you know, if anyone's gonna see something, it would be me.
Right.
But, yeah, Sam having some psychic abilities is still a pressing issue lingering in the background.
It's, like, uncomfortable enough for us to just not bring it up all the time.
Dean's really frustrated because if they can't kill Roy and they don't know of a way to kill a Reaper, then that leaves their options pretty limited. So Sam suggests just breaking the spell binding them.
Don't they have, like, a quote where they're like, you can't kill death? And I'm like,
oh, you'll see.
Oh, you cute kids.
So they decide that they're going to go to another of Roy's services, and this time they encounter the protester. There was a protester the first time that they were there, and they just kind of like walked by him. This time they're like, yeah, buddy. Sam breaks into Roy's house while everyone's out in the tent, and Roy has a lot of books for a guy who can't read.
Maybe they're Braille, or maybe he had them before he was blind.
Probably. I just noticed that he had a lot of books. I'm sure his wife still reads. It just seems like a lot.
Maybe she reads to him.
Probably.
Could be.
That would be cute.
It would be kind of cute. I mean, obviously she loves her husband for all of her faults in this episode.
Of which there are many.
Yes. Sam notices that there's dust on all of them except for one. So I guess she's probably not reading them very often.
I guess they're busy.
And behind that book, he finds a teeny tiny spell book with the exact answers that he's looking for, as well as a series of news articles about the people who have died. All of them were like immoral or anti-Roy, and it seems like the next victim's gonna be that protester.
Alright guys, so if you want to hide your creepy spell books, always dust your bookshelf.
Literally. Just do some simple housework. It's
the number of times I've seen people use this trick. Just dust your shelf, guys. Hide your stuff there. Just dust it.
Also, quick note that Dean was driving when they arrived this time, and he's driving every other time that we clearly see the car for the rest of the episode, because he's taking back control from Sam.
Nice.
Layla is chosen to be healed, and Dean has to prevent this poor, sweet girl from being healed. And Dean, begs her not to go, but I dare you to look at your mom in the eye and not try to live. The protester guy is being chased down by the Reaper, and Sam's trying to help, but he can't see the Reaper, so he's not at all helpful. He's really just there to yell encouragement.
You're doing great!
Dean yells that there's a fire to clear the tent, and the protester's dude is named David, which I learned just in time for him to get grabbed by the Reaper. Dean realizes it's not Roy controlling the Reaper, it's his wife Sue Ann, and Dean looks like a very large young man grabbing a reverend's wife, but it's fine. It's fine. It's enough that David lives and the Reaper disappears, so I guess it got the job done.
Yikes.
I also have a note here.
Okay.
So, when she was, ratting him on the cops and stuff, she's like, oh, I won't press charges. God will deal with him. This was, right after it revealed that she was playing God.
Yeah.
And so, they have that, half-second moment, and I'm like, okay, it's very obvious that she's choosing him next. And you can see that kind of, you can see Dean kind of process that, dang it, he just escaped death, and now he's got a girl trying to kill him again. And then, I think this is important, because a few scenes later, actually, I don't know, I'll get to that when we get there.
Okay. Yeah, I wrote my notes. It's a very thinly veiled threat that Dean's gonna be the next one to get his life traded. Layla is also pretty upset, because she's gonna die if Roy doesn't heal her. But she wishes him good luck, because she's a good fucking person. And as she walks away, he says that she deserves to live a lot more than he does. Roy promises to heal Layla in a private session that night, because he's also a good person. And Sam theorizes that Roy knows nothing about anyone dying or the Reaper, which I'm happy to hear, honestly. I'm really sad for Roy by the end of this episode, to be honest.
Yeah, he's not a bad guy.
But yeah.
He's just gullible.
Yeah.
I mean...
Can you fault him for trusting his wife?
He lived through an unsurvivable situation, and then people around him started getting healed. What other conclusion was there?
And he's obviously, like, very devoutly religious, and he probably has read about tons of saints and stuff doing this, too.
Exactly. I mean, why not help people if you have the ability to?
Jesus. Is this the first episode with religious connotations where we kind of see Dean talking about, like, how he doesn't really believe in a higher power and all that?
There was a little bit in Hookman.
Oh, yeah.
But this is definitely, like, I would say the most we've gotten into it.
Yeah. This isn't the first episode where I've discussed religion, though. That was Phantom Traveler.
We've discussed it a lot, but yeah, this is, like, the second, like, time that it's been, like, addressed in the show where they stand, like, that Sam's obviously a lot more comfortable believing in some sort of higher power. The book has all of the instructions. Like, thank God Sam found this book. It has all the instructions for an altar to control the Reaper. You need bones and human blood and probably worse stuff. It's pretty intense. Dean says that she probably just wanted to save